Hi, everyone. Marianne Croce here from Small Biz Vantage and the creator of 3 Day Weekends Coaching. I'm glad to be here each and every week for business leadership in 15 minutes. And the reason I do this is there's two of them. One of them is for you to be able to shift your perspective, the way you look at your business, your vantage, turn that into your competitive edge. A lot of people think it takes these major changes. It really takes small shifts. They can make a huge impact on your business. And the second reason I do this is for you to take away one action item each and every week, something that you can implement in your business to make that impact. So the question I get asked most is, Marianne, who do you work with? And I primarily work with business owners who are in the automotive and skilled trades. These are people that I have a lot of respect for, and I really do admire their grit and their drive. So most of the people that come to me have teams, and they have been managing a lot of different areas of their business. And what they're looking for now is to really formalize their operations and looking to develop leaders in their team. Because what happens is they get to a point where they do not want their business to consume them anymore. They want to be able to have a life as well. And that's really the stage that they're at. That's where I come in and I can offer some help, some guidance. So let's get to this week's topic, which is team gratitude. This came up because I hear so many owners and leaders in businesses, both inside automotive and the skilled trades, and even outside these industries. I hear them talking a lot about and being frustrated about finding people today, being able to hire. And my question to you, I actually have two of them, is are you grateful for the team that you have? And the next question is, are you wanting more from them? So the reason I ask this is because not only are we shorthanded today, but as owners, we feel like we cannot deliver the same type of service that we're used to providing, that our customers are used to receiving. And it's frustrating for owners because we have the work is there, but many don't have enough help. So we see this everywhere. We see it in the medical industry, restaurant, retail, skilled trade, and of course, automotive industries. Business are Businesses are really having to do more today with less people. It's a fact. That's just the way it is. So are you grateful for the team that you have? The people that are showing up and coming in when others aren't. In many cases, we have to really think about this. We're asking them to do more work. And sometimes the work that we're asking them to do, they don't have the skill set for it. And it's work that they weren't hired to do. So, for example, you might be asking someone to pitch in and answer phones, but they don't have the training, they don't have the skills to answer the phones. And now all of a sudden, we're asking them to do that, and that's not something that they were hired to do. So that's just one example. As an owner, a leader, or a manager, you have to get the work out. I get it. You've made promises to people. There's expectations, for your customers. But how do you do this without taking advantage of your team? How do you do this and show gratitude? So there's ways to do this because a lot of times when I speak to owners, their perspective initially of this is, well, they understand that we're in a really tough situation right now, and we all pitch in and we help each other out, but that really doesn't make the situation clear for them. So the best way to do this is shift the way you look at your business. See it from your team's and your customers' perspective. What are your customers experiencing, and what's your team experiencing? Those team members, what are they going through right now? When we ask people to do more without a clear reason, we don't explain the why, here's what can happen. They can actually be overworked. They feel overworked. They know they're overworked. And the results are, what happens is we start to get lower quality work because many of them are in a situation where they're having to multitask, which means more mistakes and poor customer service. Communication can break down when someone's trying to multitask because they're overworked. The next thing that can happen is frustration. There's a decrease in engagement and lack of teamwork. So some people may view the situation that they're in, as being unfair, and they may be looking at someone else, another team member, and feel like they're doing more than someone else. So that can really decrease the engagement and lack of teamwork. Next can be resentment. And the results of resentment is now they're coming in late, they're leaving early, they're taking time off, all of a sudden it's unplanned. And to the owner, it can seem like they don't care any longer. There's kind of a disconnect, and team members look at their position as just a job. So to avoid those types of things from happening, when we explain what's going on, when we explain what's happening to the team and why we need them to take on more, when we explain that, we should really also frame it for them. And I want to give you an example of what I mean with that. So we explain to them the situation. As you know, we are shorthanded. We are very fortunate to have the amount of work that we do. We need the work and we need to produce the work. But unfortunately, we don't have enough of people. We are working on that, and we have ads out, and we're continually working on getting people in, interviews, all of that. But the help that I need from you, this is temporary, and we're going to view it as a project, and you will be compensated for that. Once we hire someone, get them onboarded, then we can go back to the normal workload. So now they understand what the plan is, and they're more willing to take part in it because you've given them a clear sense of what's expected and a clear sense of how you're going to compensate them for this added work. You want to explain, is this a temporary or a permanent responsibility? In which they'll be compensated for. And here's another thing that owners sometimes overlook. They're going to be compensated for it, but they're also going to be given the tools and the resources needed to take on the work. Remember, I was talking about skills that they may or may not have. Well, are you giving them the resources needed so they can develop those skills? Are you giving them tools? And lastly, another thing to look at is, what perks can you offer them to show your appreciation, to keep them upbeat, to be grateful, and to show them that what they're doing makes a difference. It's making a difference for the business. And of course, you want them to see that personally as well. So one way to do this might be gift cards. Another might be maybe add something into their already supplied uniforms. If you supplied uniforms, maybe add work boots to that list if you don't already, or if you don't offer jackets, something that you can add to a benefit that they're already getting. Maybe lunch out with the owner. Maybe that's something that you do. You take the people that you have there out, and you pick a day and have one-on-one time with the owner. Or it could be you're going to order maybe some new company swag and you want to give it to them because you're like, you know what? We're so proud to have you here. We want to, give this to you as show our appreciation. So it might be something that you've never ordered before, but it's something that you know that they would like or they would appreciate having. So the next thing I think is really, really important is to get their feedback and ideas. Once you present to them, we're going to need you to do more, and here's how we're going, here's a plan, and here's how we're going to compensate you. Get their feedback and ideas of how they can make an impact on getting more work out. They actually may have ideas that will benefit the company. It may streamline things. Because, see, without the conversation, they can feel taken advantage of. Include them in the conversation. They don't know how long that this is going to take. They don't know. They don't know how long it will last. And you don't know how asking them to put out more work is impacting their personal life. Does this mean coming in early? Does this mean staying later? You don't know how you're impacting their personal life. So it's important to get them on board. The use of tools is a great way for your team and your customers. It's really good to keep your customers current, and it's really great to keep your team current. Use tools, use technology, but you have to remember that tools will not replace the trust and the reputation that it took years to build. So make sure you and your team are using tools correctly. And then when you use different tools or you add different features to your business, test anything new that you are doing, that you are using, and verify that it's working well. Because you don't want it just to work, you want it to work well. Ask your customers for their valuable feedback, because the goal of a tool is to streamline, make the process easier, more valuable to your customers, make the experience better for them. So I want to share with you some of the tools, like just to give you like an example of what you could do. So it could be appointment calendar or scheduler. Maybe not everyone wants to call to set up that. So having a tool that can help you with that is a huge time saver. Text messaging to your customers, letting them know when the job is completed, and not doing it from, you know, uh, 5 different cell phones in the company. Have a system, a software that does it so you can go back and there's a record. We want a record, a recording of all of the text messages that were sent out and any replies. So that's very important that you use the software and you don't just use a whole bunch of cell phones. And sometimes people are using their own personal cell phones. So everything is on their phone and it's not in your software. The next thing is early and late drop off and pickup. There are, ways that you can do that and you can arrange that. Key boxes, really secure ways that people can arrange for that. Online payments. People can pay for the job that was done online and it can be secure. So you don't have to worry about them coming and picking up a vehicle after hours or before hours. And payments are secure and you have a process and a system to do that. People don't have to stay late. They don't have to come in early for those types of things. Tongue twister, digital vehicle inspections. A lot of times these are called DVI in the industry. These are a great way for you to communicate with your customers. Depending on what kind of job they have, they could be a teacher in a school, or they might be on the road as a salesperson, and they're not at a desk all the time. So getting text messages or getting things sent to their phone when they can look at it at their convenience is the best way, because it may not be a good time to call them. depending on what they do, where they are. Online chat is another feature that many businesses are using, and you can answer some of the most common questions right there online. They can get an answer. And we've seen those and used those in many different industries. So these are just examples of some of the tools that you might want to consider implementing. Or if you're kind of doing it an old school way, use an actual tool that makes that more professional and convenient for your customers. So lastly, I want to say be an example to your team. This is huge. You have to show them the type of action, the type of activity, the way that you want your customers treated. Be patient with your customers. Allow them time to ask questions or present their concerns. Don't rush them. Taking time needed to answer those questions and explain the details. When you clarify things with your customer and even your team, it builds trust. Always show respect. Don't speak badly of customers, accounts, other businesses, that are, like yours. Don't do that, because even though these people may not be your ideal customer or ideal account, you don't know their situation, and their situation can change. Get enough sleep. If you have to work more and you have to figure all these things out, come to work well rested and remind your team of that. Take a break, stay hydrated, go for a walk. There are things that can clear your head, and be positive. There is always a way to achieve your goals. What you need to do as an owner, as a leader, is you need to know that you have to be flexible and adaptable on the way of getting there. So things may change up a little bit, but you can achieve your goals. So our team is our most valuable asset, and today's workforce will not tolerate being taken for granted. And you know what? That's a good thing, because owners, leaders, and managers really need to adjust so that business can be profitable, sustainable, and enjoyable for years to come. So I'm curious, I'd really like you to let me know how you have supported your team and your customers during these times. You can put it in the chat, or on the replay. I'll see it on the replay. So thanks for being here. And I look forward to next week's Business Leadership in 15 minutes. If you find this valuable, please share it with another business owner that you know. Thanks again. Have an enjoyable week.